All right, guys, welcome back. We have an unfortunate episode for the Bonneville. So as you can see, it's back in the driveway. It is on jack stands. The front bumper is off. So basically the situation is Tristan was driving this to work since we got the new transmission in, and everything was working fine. He took it to lunch and got stranded in a drive-through because the car would not move in any forward or reverse gears. So first thing that comes to mind is something catastrophic, but he got it pushed over to a parking spot and turned it off and back on a couple times, and finally it started up again and started moving. Like this entire time the engine was on, just would not move forward or backwards. So turn it off and on again. Finally it starts moving, so he brings it back to work, and then on the way there, same issue at a red light, it does the same thing. So it gets it towed back to Cotman's, who they're the ones who built the transmission. They were going to check it. They said that the transmission cooler lines were leaking, and that had caused it to be down a couple quarts of fluid, and would explain that or whatever. But the transmission cooler lines, to my knowledge, were totally fine. Like, I mean, they're kind of janky how we did it, but they were secure. We used good fittings, and we used fuel line hose clamps, which are like way better than normal hose clamps. So we are going to replace those just per Cotman's request. Yesterday I did take out the old, or the aftermarket dipstick we had, because it really sucked. You saw how hard it was to get the dipstick tube back in, or the dipstick back into the tube. So I put the stock one back in and I checked it, and it was actually overfilled, oddly. Cotman's had said that it was underfilled, or it was like low, so they added 2 quarts, and about 3 quarts excess came out. So kind of weird situation there. But basically at this point, what we're thinking, I did run a scanner on the car, and it said it had the P0741 code, which is for the torque converter solenoid. Tristan did notice on the highway it wasn't getting into overdrive, so RPMs were a bit higher. And then also with that code, it means it's triggered when the torque converter is spinning at a different rate than the input shaft. So engine speed versus the input shaft, it was off by 200 RPM or more. So that could mean that it was slipping, something with input shaft or torque converter, or just torque converter itself. Either way, it seems like to me the torque converter, something's not getting enough fluid because it's not able to deliver the power to the wheels. So there's a couple possibilities. First off being bad torque converter. We did use a used torque converter, but it only had a couple 100 miles on it. It was the ZZP 2500 stall. Really no reason for that to be bad, but it was a used part, so who knows. We do have another used low mile one. We might even just have Tristan buy a new one from Cotman's to put in. But basically what we're going to do is continue with the understanding that it could be the transmission cooler lines leaking, so we're going to replace them. We got all new AN lines that we'll be making, and this Tru-Cool 40K, which, sorry Vince, this was going to go towards the Trans Am, but we're putting in the Bonneville for now. We'll get you a new one. But we're going to put that in, and then I'm also going to drop the pan and check the filter, because if there's a clog in the transmission lines, or if the filter has an issue, either it's clogged or it's disconnected, that could easily cause this issue where it's not going to move forward or backwards. So we're going to go ahead and give it a check. One other thing, we did check the gear selector cable, and that's all fine. It is going in gears. It's just something about the torque converter or something. Fluid pressure, line pressure, not good. So I don't know. We're going to go ahead and do this first. We're still probably going to have to take it to Cotman's after that. It was just a prerequisite that we get those leaky lines fixed first, and we'll probably pay them to just swap in a new torque converter at minimum. So we're going to go ahead and get this knocked out here. I already have the front off, have the old transmission cooler disconnected. You can see how much bigger that's going to be. We might have trouble fitting it in here, but we might have to cut up the front bash bar, which is just held together with some bolts. Not the hardest thing. I mean, just angle grind it. We ultimately want to possibly replace this with a tubular front end, but that will be down the road for sure, because this is kind of just like a patch job until we can get the thing running. But really unfortunate and bad luck that this new rebuilt transmission, after we did all this work, we're still having an issue where the car doesn't even move. So I mean, it's a real hassle to get to that torque converter. We're not going to do it. We're done working on that pretty much. We're going to have Cotman's do it if that's going to be the solution, but I'm going to stop talking here and get to work. All right, guys, so I got the lines routed back up over it. You can see these ones had the fuel hose clamps on. They're tight and dry. These ones, though, these were the ones that were leaking. They're normal hose clamps, and definitely the junctions weren't great, so that's where that was leaking. Don't think that was enough really to leak like tons. According to the shop, it was low 2 quarts, but yeah, who knows. Anyways, we're getting that out of the way. I'm working on now cutting the hard lines. You can see there I have some special AN fittings that you can, basically has a brass insert in the center, and then it just makes the seal once you tighten it up. So that'll be going on there. So we'll have AN hard lines, and then the AN lines to the new Tru-Cool 40K. That's also going to be dash 6 AN. So the AN hard lines for everything. Those things are rated for, like, I don't know, thousands of PSI of fluid, so shouldn't be a problem. And we can do away with these, you know, rubber lines. Like this one was on the transmission or the cooler side, and it was kind of loose. This one seems to have a lot of fluid in it still, so you can see how much is coming out of there. I'm also going to check these lines. I don't think there's any problems with them clogging or anything. I also ran some compressed air through the transmission cooler, and it was free flowing too, so yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, I got the AN fittings on here. I just put some 90-degree bends on them, just upwards, so they don't leak or anything like that in the meantime. But those are done and should be good to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the front bash bar here. It needs to be 22 3/4 inch long to fit the cooler, and then it needs to be 1 1/4 inch deep. And you can see here it gets kind of slim, so I'm going to measure it out and mark kind of where I'm going to need to cut it to fit that big old transmission cooler. We're for sure going to need to you know, get the whole cut off wheel and, you know, make some room here. Tristan does have a wire that he ran through here oddly, but we can just go ahead and cut it and then add a junction, or I guess disconnect it right here and pull it all the way through, and then we can, you know, work with that. But yeah, looking in there, unfortunately it doesn't have a center support. We'll have to, I don't know how we'd cut that out. We'll figure it out here. Basically just need to cut off just a little bit, I'm sure. I'll measure this and we'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. So cut up the bumper support bars. So there's the strips from inside that I took out just so we can fit the massive transmission cooler. It is all in now. Sorry I didn't really show much. I kind of just wanted to get it done, but there it is. You can see how massive it is. I set it up a bit higher just so it gets more airflow. Obviously it's like pretty much blocked completely by that, but I did have to do some clearancing obviously to make it fit. And on the back there you can see it comes close to the heat exchanger, but this is the closest side. It is not touching at all, and I have it anchored down in 3 places. So even with this side, this corner not supported, like this thing does not move unless you're like putting straight up force on it, which won't happen in normal road condition. There is the dash 6 AN line. Unfortunately, Amazon did not deliver me 2 of them, even though I ordered 2. I got another random fitting that cannot be used, so we're waiting on that. I got same-day shipping, so it should be here later today. It's starting to rain a little bit, but we'll put that in there. Then once that's done, all we need to do is make AN fitting lines, or AN lines, to go from, you know, the feed and the return on the transmission. And as you can see here, we have those AN fittings, so should be very simple. We'll probably route them, you know, use these 90s, route up over this frame rail, and then it will probably have to go under here, unfortunately, to reach back up and into the fittings. I don't see any way around it. Maybe up, snake it through here. That'd be a good idea. We'll have it come up and over, snake through here, down, and then up into the fittings. So we'll be doing that tomorrow, I think. Kind of ran out of time today to complete it, but we've gotten basically, like, I'd say 70% of the work done. It's very close to being done. And then we still need to drop the pan, check, you know, all that, see if that's all good. According to Tristan, there's also some pipes in there that one of them is really easy to pop out, and if you lose that, you don't have any, you know, transmission pressure. So that could very well be what we're running into. But overall, it's probably just a torque converter needing replacing. But I mean, this is something that we were gonna do here anyways. This just makes sure that the car has a bulletproof transmission cooler. This is like the best one you can get. Like, people put these on their massive trucks, so this should be able to handle the heat generated by this. And we should also get some air right in there through the nostrils on the bumper right over there. One of the reasons we want to do a tubular bumper is because, you know, this takes up a lot of, or the bash bar takes up a lot of space. If we made it tubular, we can cut out the license plate area and then get even more airflow. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the front bumper on and put the wheels back on, and we'll be back tomorrow. All right, guys, it is the next day, and I'm continuing work on this. I actually got one AN line already ran, so this will be out of the way. You know, it's tucked up over the subframe rather than under like we had previously. So I didn't really show the process of making this line. I'll show the other process. It is really simple. But basically, to get the correct length that I wanted, I got a rubber hose, same size, whatever, and then I routed it how I wanted it to, up to here. So we have 90-degree angle. I'll have another 90 there. So this is the feed, and that would be the return. And yeah, it should be pretty simple here to go from A to B. It would be nice to have another one of these clamps that's a bit better to hold these, you know, kind of static together. We'll work with what we got. I guess we could put it up a bit closer, kind of holds them up a bit better. But yeah, we're getting really close to being able to, you know, fill the thing with fluid and test it. I actually want to drop the oil pan again, like I mentioned, just to check the filter and that one tube that Tristan was talking about, just to make sure that it wasn't something like that that's causing the transmission not to, you know, deliver power. But I'm gonna go ahead and make the other hose. I need to measure it first, and then I'll show you that process. All right, guys, so Tristan showed up finally, the man that blew up the built transmission. I'm all dark in the frickin'... Yeah, you are. It's early, so it's kind of, the sun's not great. I feel that way, the way that I look, you know? So I got this measured out. I don't know where the line went, but the line I measured with it, I just got some electrical tape on here, and then it's got the cutoff wheel to cut it to the correct length for the return side. So I'm gonna grab the fittings for it now. One's still on the car, and then there's another one that's in that box, but we'll get this on. All right, guys, so you get your AN fitting right here. So I've already taken it apart. It's two pieces, the collar that goes over, and that kind of threads on to this. You just want to make sure that the little frays, you can't really avoid all the frays. Make sure that they go in just fine. Then it's threaded a little bit so it bites onto the line, and you just bring it all the way down until it touches the bottom of the threads. Inside there, you're not gonna be able to see anything, but this takes just a second. And then you'll wanna put it in the vise here. And you can oil the threads. I've seen people do it because you don't wanna strip the threads when you're putting the AN fitting on. But we're gonna go in dry with this one. All right, guys, so now that that's all the way down, you just get your vise, which this isn't going to be pretty because this is metal on aluminum, or steel on aluminum, or whatever metal the fucking vise is. But you just want to get it on there, and then this, since it's you know, the collar's over it, this will go inside the hose, and as it threads in, it'll basically push the hose against the collar, just forcing it, making a really tight seal. So I've found that these fittings thread really, really easily, so I'm not concerned about no oil. Yeah, what does it say? Nut. Even though no ANs have nuts, so. Like, I don't Interesting how that works. I mean, it's Chinese as hell, so. Chinese as fuck. I don't like getting the wrench super tight on there because I've had an issue before where the wrench over tightens on there and then doesn't want to, it's like jammed, I can't get it on. Oh no, yeah. It is Chinese as fuck. And then you just... That's cool, so that, around the world, around the world. Yeah. Let's see. Now we're getting close. And then you just bring it all the way down. There it is. Nice. Yep. Looks very nice. I mean, except for that, because the vise gouged it. It's whatever. You could always put a towel around it, but yeah. Yeah, it'd probably still gouge a little bit. So I need to go grab the 90-degree off the transmission line. Off the transmission line to get it on. You can see here, guys, the kit came with like huge assortment. You know, there's 45s, there's straights, there's 180s. Holy shit. And is this what I bought? 90s, yeah. Damn. So it came with a lot of extra stuff, and we'll have... That's really cool that we have extras. All that extra line over there, too. Oh, yeah. All right, well, let's get that fitting off, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. Yep, nice. He just got that one done. That looks really good. This whole thing looks really good. Now that we know how easy it is to make AN lines, we're gonna AN line everything. Yes. Like straight up. Like we shouldn't have bought the AN lines for the Camaro there, the return and You're feed. Right. We easily could have done that. And it's way too long too, so we could have just done it ourselves. Yeah. But I mean, we still could, right? A little bit better because it's straight steel braided rather than have you know, this. You don't want this to get burnt up. Also, guys, kind of sneak peek here. The whole thing is all welded up. You can see how, well, it doesn't really come out super well, how pretty some of the welds are. Not all of them are great, but
Hey, that'll work.
Yeah. So let's go put this on and tighten it up, and then we can drop the pan. Once we just confirm some stuff, we'll fill it up and check for leaks, I guess. Gotta push this guy through. Oh, no, I broke my fucking stand.
Oh no, I heard a crack.
Damn it. Are you able to? Okay, good. Yep.
All right. That started on there.
Let me, yeah, we're gonna have to tighten those boys up.
But not having any direct airflow certainly does not help.
Yeah. Yeah, it really sucks with the bumper, guys. We're wanting to, like I said, get a tubular front bumper.
Yeah. I think we could do that really easily ourselves.
Yep.
And then just cut out the license plate. That's what another guy did. I think might be the same guy with the write-up. Not sure.
That was just the wrench slipping off. Nothing broke. I should have gotten the open-ended one instead of like the, because I'd have to like keep adjusting it, unadjusting it, you know.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I'm trying to grab it with the ends, and the ends are just popping off, so. See, and this is when it gets locked. If I do it too tight. I mean, this was cheap as hell. Okay, that's tight for sure. Now this one, I can't even get the open end, or the whole end on it, so I'm just gonna do my best with this. Yeah, but the thing about these AN wrenches, you don't want to scratch up the AN fittings with like a steel wrench, so they make these aluminum ones.
Oh.
Okay.
You know what? They probably thought we were amateurs with those really shit lines before, and then we're gonna bring the transmission back to them, and they're gonna be like, "Damn,
Well, these AN fittings. Like, what the hell?
they got hard lines now."
Yep.
Like, damn.
It's all good. All right,
Ain't
so
fucking around.
these are all, those are tight, these are tight, and yeah, so now we just got to pull the pan off, which has been drained, and we'll just do that really fast. I don't think you guys need to see. We'll check the filter and all that. And
Yeah, there's three tubes in there underneath the pan that the fluid goes through. There's one that's notorious for popping out of its place and then not delivering fluid to all the things that need fluid, like the torque converter. And there's a Sonax clip, or should be a Sonax clip, holding two of them together. That should solve that issue. I recommend that part because it's like $1. But yeah, if it's in there, it should be fine, and the filter should be also fine and in there and in place. But
yeah, if the filter's out, or that the tube he's talking about's out, that could be our problem.
And that would be a shop issue, I think. I don't think that would be, you know, our fault at all. You know, that would be on the shop. They stand behind
their work, right? So.
Yep. But either way, I'm gonna fucking have to pay for the transmission shop to take the transmission out of the car, replace the torque converter, probably the torque converter solenoid. Probably.
Yeah, just to be safe, like, I mean,
yeah.
No.
And then I'm probably gonna have them inspect the clutches.
You know, some of these oil pan bolts are just loose, bro. Some of them are tight, some of them are
That's not good. I wonder if the ones that are loose are the ones with the helicoils in them.
Well, one of them, remember when we were installing this, it wasn't even threaded in.
That's right. That's awesome. Well, we'll be right back, guys. Once we get the pan out, gotta conserve on the memory card. You know how it is. All right, last bolt on the pan. You got that side?
One sec. Yep.
Okay.
Good Lord. Oh, filter's on.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks all good to me.
And it looks like the tubes I'm talking about going to the accumulator, those are all good.
Yep.
I'm gonna try not to get the fucking transmission fluid on the camera, but everything looks good visually from the pan. You know, that's all in there.
And that's a normal amount of movement too. It's not like it's definitely not popping.
Yeah, I can't really see the this tube's all the way in, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And everything looks good there.
Yeah, everything does look good.
All right, we could just put it back together. I think.
Let me look.
There's nothing in there.
Nothing in. Okay, it looks a little bit darker on there, but let's
get her back up there.
All right, I'll hold it. I'll hold it up there while you get the bolts in.
Yeah. Giving it gas moves it, but yep, not good enough. Yep, that's
Immediately stops.
yep. Torque converter time. I mean, we got new lines in the transmission cooler on there.
That's
pretty
cool. Just need the goddamn thing to work.
Yeah, we keep giving it nice things. Tristan was just saying that, and
Like we're doing all the nice things for it.
look what it does to us. Yeah, might as well just shut it off. No need to give it excess wear.
Guys, look, we haven't shown anyone this yet. Oh no, no, that's like the.
That stuff's gonna come off no matter what. I can do it by my finger.
Well, don't. Let's try and save on the paint as much as possible.
It do be like that sometimes. I guess
I ain't
not.
too
I've
surprised.
never seen that happen before. So
By the way, I think the idling thing is the exhaust leaks, possibly.
yeah.
It's not idling like it should perfectly on startup, but yeah.
Well, these and fittings held up except for one, unfortunately. Probably just gonna have to replace it. So this guy up here, the feed was I mean, you can see a little bit of weepage coming out the back. Yep, we
It do be
checked.
like that.
We checked the pan, the filter, those lines, replaced the whole transmission cooler, all the lines with AN stuff.
Everything looked good.
I mean, we weren't expecting that to fix it by any means, because we already have a really good idea of what the issue is, being the torque converter, or I mean, not the solenoid, it'd just be the converter.
Well, possibly.
Or the pump.
Yeah, or the pump. I mean, I would hope that it's not that, but it's original to the car or transmission, because like they didn't replace that. So.
But Tristan's
The
gonna.
pumps just give out. I don't think they would.
No, I mean, it's just like an oil pump. If it breaks, which it shouldn't have broken.
Yeah. And plus, they would have seen any damage, because we were wondering what those like little fins were or something.
Yeah.
Someone said it could have been, the
That's
pump.
what my first thought was.
But I don't think, they would have seen that damage and then not obviously replaced it.
Yeah, or with you bringing them the parts yourself, they could have been like, well, this is the parts that he gave us. We're just gonna put that in, but it'd be suspect if they didn't tell us about damage.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Tristan's gonna bite the bullet and have Cotmans take the transmission out, do the converter, maybe the solenoid, and
Yeah,
maybe just go all the way through, make sure no clutches got burnt up.
Yep, that's probably what I'm gonna do, because there's no point for them not to look at the clutches when they're that far, because it's like 5-minute job to take the clutches out at that point.
Yeah, I might as well get that solenoid done too if the transmission's out.
Yeah, because why not? I mean, if I'm paying over $1,000 to take this thing out,
Get your money's worth.
Yeah, get my money's worth. Yeah, me and Davis do not want to do this again. My body is not willing to go through this again through a weekend and just kill ourselves with the car. Just kind of done with it. So I'm just gonna pay them the money that they want, fix it, just get the car running right, and then that's it. That's my tax return right there.
Or bonus.
Yeah, my bonus is going to pay off the Tahoe, and then the
Lord.
tax return is going to pay for Cotmans.
Well, hopefully you'll have this, all done and,
I fucking
working
hope
after that.
so.
But, yeah.
We'll see about that, guys. We'll see about that. But I mean, we've got more stuff coming for the Bonneville, like we all said. We're giving the nicest stuff to the Bonneville. Doesn't deserve it.
Just
Does
spitting
not
in our
deserve
face.
it.
All right, guys. So we got the car all back together here. You can see, we got as much of the transmission cooler, in the nostrils of this thing to get a little bit of airflow. I mean, you can see our struggle. It's just like completely covered. There's very little airflow that can get inside the engine.
It really sucks. That's why we're thinking about making an air dam at the bottom of the
air dam,
bumper,
cut it
and
up,
then,
dude,
yep.
just like tons.
Yeah, tons of stuff that we could do to hopefully get better airflow in the future, because the intercooler doesn't get good airflow, the radiator doesn't get good airflow. I'm just lucky that thing doesn't overheat.
Yeah, and we put that big old, I mean, as much as the transmission cooler will help, it also further restricts some more airflow.
Yep, to everything.
That's
so
great.
That is great, you know, but there's literally nothing to be done about that, because besides the things that we're already planning, there's so little to work with.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, the circumstances really suck with us needing to take this back to Cotman's, but at least you guys got to see us install this massive, badass transmission cooler, and lines, all that good stuff.
And you guys are going to hear about how it goes the rest of the way with the shop, with the transmission. Like we already said, it's going to get a new torque converter just all off the bat, and it's going to cost at least $1,000 more for them to take it out and put it back in, not including any
extra work,
taking apart, putting a torque converter in. I don't know if they're going to charge me that, but I'll let you guys know. I mean, like, they seem like a good shop, and they're reputable, and I've had good experiences with them, but, like, you know,
our friends have had a good experience with
they kind of just blew me off just a little bit, you know.
Yeah, they're like, it was low,
it was low, it's fine, and then it doesn't make it more than
quarter mile down the road.
I don't know, 2,000 feet down the road, but that's not their fault in the end. But yeah, I'm just angry. I'm just
You want this car to work, you put so much money and time into this. Right.
Yeah, so I'm just taking it out on whatever I can. So, yep. Yeah, but we got more Bonneville content coming, guys. We got more
it'll get
Camaro
fixed.
content. It'll get fixed. It will, one way or another, will get fixed. You throw enough money at something, it'll get fixed.
For sure.
So yeah, we got more Bonneville content. We got more Camaro content coming soon. Yeah, we just need to get this thing working right, and then fix the electrical issue, tune, and then it will be ready.
Yep. If we could get a high stall converter for it again, I mean, this wasn't high stall, it was 2500 stall, we will. But if he has to go with the stock replacement, that's kind of just going to be how it goes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, lose a little bit of that badassness with it, but I mean, it's a badass transmission to begin with, and
yeah,
it'll be good still.
Found a stock one available on O'Reilly's website that was 2200 to 2400 stall. So like that would be a good replacement for this thing if it's actually like a decent converter. Stall wise, so that'd be cool. So we might not lose all of that, but either way, with a stock converter or not, this thing's gonna go quick. It's gonna be quick, so it'll be good.
Yep. So guys, that's gonna do it. You know, it is what it is. Yep. You know, leave a like down below if you feel empathy for Tristan here. But that's gonna do it. Leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.